Sent from Disneyland, history in our hand. So much to say about yesterday and the decades we have spanned. Postcards from the park, this journey will embark. See what has changed and what remains on Sent from Disneyland. Sent from Disneyland.
Welcome to the Sent from Disneyland podcast.
Here age relives fond memories of the past.
If it's your first time joining us, welcome. On this podcast, we'll take a journey into the past and explore Disneyland, Disneyland history, and more, with mementos, snapshots, souvenirs, and postcards sent from Disneyland, from 1955 to the present. Let's start by thanking my patrons from patreon.com. You can join in at any level to support the show and receive snail mail from my trips to Disneyland and from my desk, plus some sneak peeks and bonus content. Special thanks to Random Olive, the first patron to this podcast, and to the rest of the e-ticket patrons, Tania, Eric Daniels, Monica Seitz Vega, Bill Dreffel, Scott Cagle, Russ Romano, Michael and Christina Cross, Angela Reynolds, and Sheila Harry. C-ticket patrons Serious Inquiries Only, Debbie Weinstein, Jennifer Schneep, Grace Coate, Patty Wolin, Ben and Noel Bruning, and Greg Gorley. B-ticket patron Joshua Bell, and to the A-ticket patrons Elise Sharp, Zealot Infinity, Alexis Robles, Angel DeBlock, Daps Magic, and the Beyond the Railroad podcast. I am your host, your post-host Clocky, and today we have 2 postcards sent from Disneyland. The front of our first postcard has the Matterhorn towering over the submarine lagoon at night. You can see one of the submarines headed on its adventure, as well as Monorail Yellow soaring overhead. On the back it reads, Matterhorn Mountain, a Disneyland landmark, the snow-capped Matterhorn Mountain towers majestically over all of the Magic Kingdom. High-speed bobsled runs carry guests down its slopes and through a glacier grotto inside the mountain. It's postmarked July 13th, 1964, with an Anaheim cancel and a 5-cent gray George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1213. I assume they visit the park on Sunday, July 12th, 1964, when park hours were from 9 a.m. to midnight. The weather was a high of 90 and a low of 62. Park attendance that day was 27,189. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. G. Burnett of Manchester, New Hampshire. It reads, Hi kids. Again we say hello, and just got here. What a place. Trudy and Norma. While rearranging my Disney office, I found a souvenir newspaper I purchased years ago. Let's look at some of the history of Walt Disney, Disneyland, and newspapers. Walt's father Elias obtained a newspaper route in 1909 in Kansas City. Walt and his brother Roy would deliver papers, both morning and evening editions. Walt did this for 6 years, only missing 4 weeks due to illness. In 1955, Walt wanted to have a newspaper for Disneyland, giving the turn-of-the-century Main Street USA a more authentic feel, with newsboys selling papers for 10 cents. Marty Sklar had been suggested, as he was currently an editor for the Daily Bruin at UCLA, covering sports, with a hope to become a sports writer. Marty was hired with the task of writing the Disneyland News. For the first edition, it had a title of The Disneyland News, Official Publication, Disneyland, California, and a headline that read, 50,000 attend Gala Park Opening. There was an image of Walt Disney standing on the E.P. Ripley engine of the Disneyland Railroad with a plush Mickey poking its head out of the engine's window. The front page also had about 6 articles about Disneyland and its opening day, as well as a message from the governor of California. The newspaper was not a daily paper, but was dated July 1955 and was 24 pages long. The next paper would be released the next month and continue to be a monthly newspaper until March of 1957. The paper started back up in 1959, but less frequently and on less of a schedule. The paper ended its official publication in 1968. Add some flair to your mail by checking out stamps at Enfield Post. You can explore different stamp options on our Etsy site, grab some great deals by following the EP Sunday Sales on Instagram, or create something special and have her design a stamp array for your invitation or celebration. You can head over to EnfieldPost.com and explore all the different vintage postage stamps you can use on your next card or letter. That's ENFIELDPOST on Instagram and EnfieldPost.com for your wedding and vintage postage needs. Enfield Post is the official postage stamp sponsor of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. The front of our next postcard has the Matterhorn. You can see Monorail Red gliding over the submarine lagoon, and below that, a submarine. In the distance, you can see the Skyway gondolas heading to and from Tomorrowland. On the back it reads, "Previewing the future of transportation, the first complete monorail system in the United States carries guests over the submarine lagoon and around the Disneyland Matterhorn Mountain. Climbing steep grades and racing around sharp curves, the Disneyland all-wake monorail trains run over a concrete highway in the sky." It's postmarked January 2nd, 1967, with a Los Angeles "Always Use Your Zip Code" cancel and a 5-cent blue George Washington postage stamp, Scott number 1283. I assume they visited the park on Sunday, January 1st, 1967, when park hours were from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. The weather was a high of 65 and a low of 39. It's addressed to Mr. and Mrs. H. O'Neill of Campbell, California. It reads, Monday. Hello, folk. We are here in L.A. having a nice time. Went to Disneyland yesterday and saw the Rose Parade this morning. It's a beautiful day here, temperature around 70 degrees. Have a nice group of people to travel with. Both well. Love, May and George. The newspaper in my collection was a special souvenir edition. The top of the front page has Disneyland news in the classic Gothic font. On the left is Mickey Mouse dressed as a herald with a helmet and a long brass horn. Then to the right is a drawing of some Disneyland park icons, including the Moonliner, the World Clock, the Monorail, the Matterhorn, the Flying Saucers, and of course, Sleeping Beauty Castle. This unique paper has a headline, Heidi Neuweiler Visits Disneyland. This headline was added to the page by a cast member in the Main Street Magic Shop, with the type hand-set, then inked and pressed by a cast member. In Steve Martin's book, Born Standing Up, he mentions doing this and wearing gardening gloves to protect his hands from printer's ink. This edition of the paper is significantly scaled down from the opening day edition. A third of the front page is an image of the Matterhorn, the monorail, and the submarine in the submarine lagoon. You can also see the Skyway buckets in silhouette. The rest of the page has one article with stats about Disneyland. The news in the article is about the $7 million expansion of Adventureland, with the Swiss Family Robinson Treehouse, the Tahitian Terrace, and the coming attraction called Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki and Bird Room. There are a total of 12 articles in the 4-page newspaper, covering topics from the Disneyland tour guides to the Chicken of the Sea restaurant to the expansion of the monorail system, including a stop at the Disneyland Hotel. Looking for similar papers online, I couldn't find too many. One I did find was from a publicity photo of Milton Berle and Jerry Lewis at Disneyland with a newsboy near the entrance of the park. The headline on the newspaper reading, Welcome Milty and Jerry to Disneyland. This was a special paper made because the others in the stack of papers in the newsboy's arms have a distinctly different headline of World Visitors Enjoy Disneyland. The headline section was likely printed for the park sales and left off for a stack to be used for personalized souvenirs. A newspaper did come back to the resort with the opening of Buena Vista Street in Disney California Adventure. The Buena Vista Bugle ran from summer of 2012 through summer of 2016, with issues being released quarterly. My incoming postcard is sponsored by the Art Throwdown. Art Throwdown, or ATD, is a craft hour on Instagram, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern or 6 Pacific. Art Throwdown is a wonderful community of artists who love to share their craft, from creating sticker postcards and coloring techniques to intricate paper cutting and unique crafting. It's always a treat to watch a show and occasionally get some one-of-a-kind postcards from the group. Each host brings something a little different to each show. I'll list some of the regular hosts, or you can follow Russ Romano 2021 on Instagram. The front of my incoming postcard has an illustration of Mysterious Island from Tokyo Disney Sea. You can see markings for the Journey of the Center of the Earth and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. On the lower right, there's an image of Goofy and Donald in a square-shaped submarine. It's not postmarked, but was sent with a 2 Sailboat Forever postcard postage stamp, Scott number 5747. It reads, Hello, Clocky. Thank you so much for the Disney card for the holidays. I got this card from Tokyo Disney this past summer. I hope you have a lovely holiday. Cheers, Allie. Thank you so much for the postcard, Allie. I believe I got this postcard at least a year ago. I've been rearranging my office to accommodate my new photo scanner and clean it up a bit. While looking at the second postcard for this week's episode, it was interesting to learn that the Rose Parade is never held on a Sunday. I was confused how they could have written Monday on the card, but say that they saw the Rose Parade that morning. Thanks for listening to Sent from Disneyland. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and tell your friends. It would also help to leave a 5-star rating and comment on whatever podcast platform you use. If you'd like to support the show financially, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/sentfromdisneyland. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at sentfromdisneyland or my website, sentfromdisneyland.com. For questions and comments, send me a postcard addressed to Sent from Disneyland, P.O. Box 44, Hood, California, 95639. This podcast is not affiliated with Disney, the United States Postal Service, or any post office or Disney-related properties. Opinions expressed on this podcast belong to the host and guests of the Sent from Disneyland podcast. This podcast is produced and edited by Clocky McDowell, website designed by Misty McDowell. Theme song was written and performed by Noah Sunday Lefkowitz. Take it away, Noah.